It's lights out and away we go. Verstappen gets away superbly well, chased by Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, a wheel-to-wheel Hamilton with Norris, and down the inside goes Lance Stroll. It's Verstappen who leads from Charles Leclerc, then comes Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton now ahead of Lando Norris. Then comes the Aston Martin of Stroll, and a great start from Hülkenberg ahead of Fernando Alonso, who's been pressured now by Alex Albon. Into turn 3 we go, they almost touch the two leading cars. Verstappen and Leclerc get away unscathed. Alonso is losing pace there to Lando Norris, and the McLaren getting past the Aston Martin and regaining that position. Now Charles Leclerc trying to go around the outside, that's not going to work for him. Verstappen staves off the threat of the Ferrari, and that looks like an AlphaTauri of Yuki Tsunoda going onto the gravel. Verstappen leads from Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. Hamilton in fourth, then comes Lando Norris, then comes Fernando Alonso. There you see Nico Hülkenberg on the hard compound tyre. He's just come out of the pits and he has gone way wide in the middle sector and off the track, and that could be the end of Nico Hülkenberg's race. Right, virtual safety car, and they're rushing out at Ferrari. Already I can see them coming out. They're staying put down at Red Bull.
I think Norris is in, Crofty, and Hamilton.
Norris and Hamilton coming in then to the pits. You lose 20 seconds of your race time to pit under normal conditions. That is cut in half if you pit during the safety car or the virtual safety car. Ted, down to you.
Yeah, so right in front of me, it's a perfect time. The safety car window is open. It's a good work from Mercedes getting Hamilton away ahead of the McLaren.
So, both Ferraris I'm expecting to come in. Certainly Charles Leclerc is. Carlos Sainz is also coming into the pits. Will we see both Aston Martins pitting, or will it just be Fernando Alonso? No, Fernando Alonso is also coming into the pits, as is Lance Stroll too. That's the work that's been done down at Ferrari. Very neat bit of double stacking. No, there was a delay, wasn't there? That front left, and Leclerc was a bit slow coming in too. That is not going to help their cause. Verstappen stays out, didn't pit. 2.7 seconds for Fernando Alonso. Is that Lando Norris making his way past the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz, and it's a 5-second time penalty for Lewis Hamilton for track limits. It's been coming, as this has been coming as well for this latest lap. On the inside goes Carlos Sainz, outside is Lando Norris. Sainz muscles his way past, and the Ferrari is up to 5th place. Carlos Sainz is now going wheel to wheel with Lewis Hamilton and almost touching wheel to side pod there. Sainz just noses ahead. Ferrari's got more straight line speed, and through and up into 4th place goes Carlos Sainz. So after dropping places when pitting behind the virtual safety car, Sainz is making up for lost time. And quickly, why pit Fernando Alonso when he was on the hard compound tyre?
Well,
he could have gone long.
So I think there's a bit of adjusting as it goes on there from that.
The adjustment in Carlos Sainz's mentality is attack, attack, attack now. Norris, Hamilton, and now Perez for Carlos Sainz. Max Verstappen, race leader, coming into the pits, and they need to be, it is the hard tyre, they need to be sharpish, and it's 2.3 seconds down at Red Bull. Very nice indeed, but Verstappen now at 80 kilometers an hour, making his way down the pit lane. As you can see, Charles Leclerc going through, but what about Carlos Sainz? This is going to be really tight now as Verstappen accelerates up the hill. Carlos Sainz on the racetrack is ahead of Max Verstappen. It's Ferrari 1 and 2, and Verstappen's run of 249 consecutive race laps led has come to an end here in Austria, while Esteban Ocon is the latest to get a penalty. That's 3 drivers now with a 5-second penalty. Sainz is having to play the role of defender here. Verstappen's going to try around the outside. That's not going to work because Sainz has just seen that coming. But now the inside line from Verstappen. He gets a really good exit out of turn 3. And Verstappen is clear before they even get anywhere near turn 4. And that was well thought out by the current world champion as his teammate Sergio Perez rejoins the race behind Esteban Ocon.
It was well thought out, Crofty, because he waited for the detection point of the next DRS zone after the turn up to turn 3.
Lando Norris got a much better exit out of turn 3 there, and he is closing down on Lewis Hamilton once again. Hamilton is going to force Norris the long way round, but you know what, on the straight, Lando Norris has got the speed to get past Lewis Hamilton, and Norris will pop that McLaren up into 4th place, and that looked way too easier than you would have expected McLaren against Mercedes. But this new upgraded McLaren car looks completely different to the one we saw last time out in Canada. Another penalty, and this time it's for Carlos Sainz, the fourth driver to get a penalty for exceeding track limits, and he'll pick up 5 seconds where they can't do any work to his car, can't even touch the car until he's been stationary for 5 seconds in the pit lane. Here comes Verstappen, not going to get him there, but he's got this long run now to the highest point of the track to try and get the move done down the inside at turn 3. Leclerc knows he's coming, he's putting that Ferrari as best he can. Verstappen pulls over to the inside. Is he backing out of it? No, he is not backing out of it. Max Verstappen gets past to Charles Leclerc and into the lead
he did
of the
back
Austrian
out of
Grand
it.
Prix.
He did back out of it, and to ensure he had DRS.
Into the pits comes Lewis Hamilton,
trying to cover themselves off of the potential undercut from the Aston Martin of Alonso, I think.
Lando Norris, who pitted for McLaren, is just making his way around turn 9, while Hamilton stops now, and that's the potential undercut threat. He's got that 5-second penalty to serve. Someone will have had the stopwatch on. Now they get to work. Really neat stuff. 8.9 seconds while he was stationary, but Norris is making his way through turn 1 now. Carlos Sainz serving his 5-second penalty. Brakes are getting really hot while they wait.
Must be so tempting to touch the car just waiting for 5 seconds. You've got to be within a couple of tenths, of course, as well.
And there's the difference, you see. Look, at 4.4 seconds after the penalty, stationary extra, when normally they'd be under 3 seconds. Because look, here comes into turn 1, Lando Norris. Lando Norris now goes past Carlos Sainz because he's not had to serve that 5-second penalty. Tim was talking about the disciplined drivers. Well, the discipline paying off there for Lando Norris, who's picked up a place.
That's what not sitting on the naughty step does for you.
I wouldn't know, I've never been there. 13 seconds out in front. Max Verstappen over Charles Leclerc. Sergio Perez running third currently.
But here we go.
Lando Norris running fourth, but for how much longer? Round the outside goes Carlos Sainz. Norris tries to force his way on the inside down the hill, back past his former teammate. Carlos Sainz makes the move stick. Lovely. Verstappen should pit and come back out into the lead of this race. Medium tyres to take him, he hopes, to the end of this race, although there's a potential for a bit of rain in the closing stages. Perez could very easily get himself a second place in this race on fresher tyres than the two Ferraris to the end of the race.
Yeah, such is the speed of the Red Bull here today.
Here comes Sergio Perez trying to lighten up his afternoon. Oh, they almost touch. Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez. This time, nice exit once more from Perez. There's no back markers to save Carlos Sainz and give him DRS, but he has got DRS because Perez was ahead, wasn't he? Going into the detection zone, and he's coming back at Sergio Perez. Down on the inside, he cuts off the Red Bull, but gives him a car's width. Perez forces Sainz out wide to the outside. They're absolutely level going through turn 5. Round the outside, Sergio Perez has to concede to Carlos Sainz. The move was on, and then just because Perez overtook the Ferrari into the DRS detection zone, Sainz got a helping hand that he never thought was coming his way. Sergio Perez is that once again. Carlos Sainz moving under the braking zone. He's forced Sergio Perez a little bit wider this time around, and he's got DRS once again because Perez was ahead going into the detection zone. Carlos Sainz will be on the inside at turn 3. Sainz was ahead of the detection point on this occasion. So now, as he straightens up his Red Bull, it's DRS advantage for Sergio Perez. But is it going to bring him close enough? He's going to have to go the long way round to turn 4. He gets ahead of the Ferrari. He stays ahead of the Ferrari, but he goes too deep into the corner. That allows Sainz to come back, but not by enough. And Sergio Perez eventually, at the third time of asking, moves up into the podium.
If they are, they're going to do it.
He's coming in.
They're racers. I like this. They're racers.
They're putting on the soft compound tyre. This might be the only time we've seen the soft tyres in this race this afternoon. Nothing went wrong with the pit stop. It's Max Verstappen with a nice set of soft tyres on, ready to set the fastest lap of the race. And in 2023, the season in which he is dominating, he's seeing the checkered flag for the 5th time in a row as a Formula 1 Grand Prix winner. Max Verstappen sets the fastest lap and wins the Austrian Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc comes home second to give Ferrari their 800th podium in Formula 1. And fair play to Sergio Perez, who might have started in 15th place on the grid, but comes home to finish on the podium, and that will do his confidence no end of good here at the Red Bull Ring this afternoon. But it's 5 wins at the Red Bull Ring. It's 5 wins in succession for Max Verstappen. It is high fives in Austria for your race winner, Max Verstappen, this Sunday afternoon.